Quinshon Judkins, 6 foot, 221 pounds, a rare combination of size, speed, and strength. He is a ball of energy. I'm joined by the fantastic Matt Price at MattPriceFF on X. Matt, are you a Judkins believer, or do you think he's falling away from this second tier of backs in this year's class and potentially going to end up in that dreaded third tier?
He's one of my two favorite players this entire class. I don't think it's caught on, but my nickname for Quinshon Judkins is the upper body bully. I just think he plays so strong, especially with that top half. The tacklers who manage to evade a stiff arm kind of just slide off him. It's like where you're wearing a rain jacket and that water just kind of beads up on you and it just slides right off. That's how I feel about tacklers that try to tackle Quinshon Judkins, and he does it without losing much forward momentum. So I'm a huge fan of his. And I'm excited to see what he does in the NFL.
I love that analogy. It's definitely going to steal that. And that is fantastic. I think, look, the contact balance, his ability to break tackles, if it wasn't for a certain other running back in this class, I feel like everyone would be lusting over it. But because he just doesn't have those kind of insane numbers, I think people have kind of forgotten about it and moved on. But if you are joining us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guarantee you will not regret it. Every single fantasy relevant prospect we are covering this rookie draft season. Yeah, I love Judkins. I think Judkins has got potential to be a 3-down workhorse. I think obviously we've seen over the last couple of years sharing backfields and things like that. It makes it a bit tougher. But I think there's competent receiving. I don't think he's going to be a huge value add in the receiving game, but I think he's going to be competent. I think he's a guy that could carry a huge amount of workload. I think his foot speed at his size is quite frankly the ridiculous thing. Like his ability to stop on a dime, he combines impressive vision with great footwork. And I think that he's not a guy that, we talk about other guys in this class that are north-south runners, and once they get up to speed, they can only run north-south and they can't stop and cut. I think Judkins isn't that despite his size. Yep. So I'm really excited about that. There is, while saying he is kind of very positive from a vision perspective, there are times where he does sort of delay, he does overthink. He sort of, I hate comparing players to Le'Veon Bell because I feel like nobody ever runs like Le'Veon Bell. But there are times when he sort of, you can almost see him thinking and processing behind the line of scrimmage rather than it being natural. Do you think that's potentially just a scheme thing? Do you think that's something that could translate to the NFL, or is that something that you're just not concerned about at all?
I can't say I'm not concerned. It's such a fine line, right, between giving a player a check mark or a plus for patience in running and letting blocks develop, and then going too far and then seeming like you're hesitating and you're missing the window that opened, right? So I would like him to be a little bit more decisive in those situations where he sees it. But I don't know. I maybe I should be worried about, and maybe it's a blind spot for me, but I'm just not sure it's going to matter as much in the NFL, depending on scheme and that kind of thing. I think it's something that can be cleaned up.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that it's really tough for us to evaluate because it's like, is that a player thing or is that a scheme thing? Is he being coached to be patient? Is he being praised for that patience?
Right.
Or is the coach screaming at him to kind of get north-south, make a decision quicker, and he's just not paying attention as such? I'm not overly concerned. It's just sort of one of those things that I'm like, that's a maybe. I think for me, Judkins is one of the safest prospects in this class, and that's a risky thing to sit out here and say, but I just feel like I struggle to see a world where he's not just a rock solid, reliable RB2 for fantasy over the next 4 or 5 years. Like, I just feel like that's his almost guaranteed outcome.
I agree with you. Like, it's almost like if you have like the floor and the ceiling, like his is like kind of squeezed a little bit, I think maybe the ceiling is maybe not quite as high as somebody like Genty, but the floor could be, up there as well. Like, I just think we're raising that floor a little bit with somebody like Judkins. So I don't think you're going to miss. Maybe you get a double instead of a triple or a home run. I think he's almost a can't miss prospect in terms of just reliability.
Yeah, absolutely. I do a thing called the riskometer in my rookie guide, where it's basically a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is out the league, 10 is like transcendent superstar. And normally, like good early day 2 running backs are somewhere between like a 6 and an 8, maybe a 9, depending on their potential upside. I feel like Judkins is going to be literally 7 and 8 because I think he doesn't have that elite ceiling, but I struggle to see a world where he isn't reliably fantasy relevant and just a a plug and play option for your fantasy team. So yeah, I'm very excited to draft Judkins, and I think whilst other people in that back end of the first round are chasing and lusting after the shiny new toy, I feel like you're going to be really happy and really solid with a reliable Judkins that you make a draft pick there.